You're the last hope for humanity. We've heard that before, but this time things are dialed up to 11. Hey there friends, it's Codiak here and welcome back to Legacy Gaming. Today, we're suiting up and breaking down one of 2021's most promising looter shooters, Outriders. The masterminds behind games like Gears of War, Bulletstorm, and yes, even a bit of Fortnite are back, and this time they've got a brand new looter shooter for us to enjoy. The team behind Outriders, People Can Fly, are convinced that they've nailed the formula and promise to deliver a 25 to 40 hour experience right out of the box. No microtransactions, no paywalls, no BS. But before we get too deep, let's take it back to the top. What is Outriders? Well, like I said, it's a looter shooter set in a brand new sci-fi world, but we're not heading to those colorful, quirky planets. Oh no, Outriders takes a much darker approach to the genre, and it all starts with the fall of mankind. Earth is in shambles, and the humans are searching the stars for a new lease on life. Enter Enoch, a promising planet that looks to have everything humans need to start life anew. Unfortunately, as any good sci-fi fan knows, curiosity got the better of our wayward explorers. An anomaly discovered while searching the planet sent a pulse of energy across Enoch, destroying nearly everything except the Outriders. Rushed to cryotanks, the only hope left to save the afflicted, the Outriders were put under. And 30 years later, the world looked a lot different, and this is where the story of Outriders truly begins. When we awaken from our self-imposed slumber, the world of Enoch looks like hell. War has broken out, and the creatures that once roamed the planet peacefully are now mutated into hulking, bloodthirsty beings. As an Outrider, you'll have to deal with them all. The Insurgents, or Exiles as they call themselves, are rival factions scattered across Enoch. War with the Insurgents is a bloody and brutal affair, and because the anomaly knocked out all advanced electronics, the fighting has reduced to trench warfare. When you're not fighting your fellow man, you'll be dealing with the Poforo, a twisting race of creatures that swarms in packs and has been transformed into deadly killers. Poforo come in all shapes and sizes, but one thing is clear: they never hunt alone. Now, I think it's important we take a step back and really look at what the developers are trying to accomplish with this game. First and foremost is a compelling narrative. Outriders is supposed to be a story unfolding in real time. The team touts a 25 to 40 hour campaign full of cinematic moments, fully voiced cutscenes, and much more. If players opt to do everything the game has to offer, side quests and all, the team claims that players will be able to sink upwards of 100 hours into the title. As an Outrider, your job is to find the source of a strange signal. The anomaly knocked out all advanced electronics, your fancy doodads are useless, but your guns, your vehicles, and your powers are locked and loaded. Oh yeah, did I mention you have powers now? Outrider's second guiding principle has to do with the combat. Players can expect snappy, satisfying gunplay, the likes of which are seldom seen in third-person games. Throw in a concoction of supernatural abilities, and you've got yourself one hell of a combat system. Unlike most other games, there are no health potions, no bandages to heal yourself. The team intentionally pushes players to dish out damage to stay in the fight. It's a thrilling change we're excited about and should really push the pace of the game. There's a character customization feature, but ultimately you'll play as one of 4 classes. The Pyromancer, a medium-range ticking time bomb that taps into fire abilities to set foes ablaze. The Trickster, a close-ranged assassin that bends time and slices foes to smithereens with strange magic. The Devastator, a close-range specialist that taps into earthly forces to sunder foes and fight on the front lines. And finally, the Technomancer, a long-range support class that manages to twist the anomaly into incredible technology. Each of these 4 classes brings something vastly different to the table, and each comes with 8 abilities that you can change on the fly. During combat, players can hot swap any of their abilities so long as they aren't on cooldown, ensuring that there are always options to explore no matter what the challenge. There is an ability for every situation, and by design, they're meant to be used a lot. You won't find many long cooldowns in Outriders, and again, that's to push the pace of the game. We'll be breaking down each of the Outrider classes in an upcoming video designed to help you make your class choice come launch. If you're interested in that video, please do consider subscribing to the channel. It's totally free, and we've got a lot planned for the game, and you won't want to miss out. Now, unfortunately, your anomaly-induced abilities can only get you so far. Thank God, the guns still work. Outriders is a looter shooter first and foremost, and you can expect to see a number of weapons throughout your travels. Everything from shotguns to sniper rifles makes an appearance, and while nothing seems overly ambitious on the onset, it's what's under the hood that really makes this system worth talking about. Outriders features a rarity system, something I think you'll all be pretty familiar with. White, green, blue, purple, and orange weapons identify rarity, and a smattering of stats breaks down the core aspects of every weapon. But here's the kicker. Using a crafting and modding system, you can wildly transform your weapons from okay to holy shit. Let's start with the mods, since this is probably one of my favorite features in the game. Mods are passive upgrades that can be attached to items and change something fundamentally about your gameplay. This can range from adding a simple status effect to your bullets, or imbuing your weapons with the power of Thor. With over 350 mods in the game, there are endless possibilities, and I'm not even going to try to explain them all. Of course, you don't have access to everything from the start. You'll need to find weapons with these mods in the world and disassemble them. Once you do that, they're added to a 3-tiered library that you can use to enhance your weapons at any time. It's a really interesting system with just a touch of RNG that should keep players hunting for items well after launch. I also mentioned a crafting system before, and I think we should take a look at that since it goes hand in hand with the modding system. While not the most complex crafting system we've seen in a game, you'll use resources you find throughout Enoch to upgrade your weapons. Everything is on the table. You'll be able to improve the rarity, buff the attributes, level up items, and my favorite, swap variants. This allows you to change a gun at the most base level. For instance, taking an assault rifle, stripping away the ability to fire automatically, and giving it the range of a sniper. It's the ability to tweak, improve, and ultimately craft the perfect weapon that makes the simplicity of it all so sweet. You may not be wowed with the overall scope of the crafting, but you'll be able to mix and match to your heart's content, and you're rocking the perfect weapon. You'll also need the perfect set of armor to keep you safe, and while most of the system we just discussed functions in much the same way, armor mods take things to another level. These mods enhance your anomaly abilities, sometimes drastically changing the way they function to create new synergies and new ways to rip apart your enemies. And you may think we've reached the end, but we've just begun scratching the surface when it comes to progression. Outriders is about giving players control over their character, and honestly, does this way better than a lot of standard RPGs out there. Outriders also features a skill system which further enhances your abilities with passive buffs. Each class has 3 distinct subclasses outlined in the skills menu, but don't expect to fill out an entire tree. You'll only have a limited number of points to allocate, but the good news is that you can reset at any time for no cost. The trees feature minor and major nodes, with the minor nodes improving things incrementally and the major nodes drastically elevating certain aspects of a playstyle. Everything we've talked about, from the crafting to the modding to the skill tree, is designed with players in mind. Build the class, build the character that you want. That's what's really at the heart of the game, and players are going to need that flexibility because we haven't even talked about the endgame yet. When it comes to looter shooters, it's all about that gameplay loop. Is it engaging and satisfying, or is it just an endless grind with no real payoff? Outriders features a dynamic difficulty system called World Tiers, which can be adjusted at any time to fit the player's comfort level. And as you can imagine, the higher the World Tier, the more brutal the challenge. At World Tier 15, players will experience enemies with the highest damage, armor, health, and level. Difficulty also scales with the number of players in your squad. With a full squad of 3, expect everything to scale up substantially. There's also a fail-safe protocol in the game that ensures that players aren't pushing through world tiers before they're ready. When you die, you'll lose a chunk of your world progress, which should, in theory, keep players right where they need to be. When you reach a new world tier, you'll be rewarded with, what else? Gear and resources. Now, I should mention that you'll only level up when playing on the hardest world tier available, so don't think you can step down the difficulty and farm for XP. It's not possible. Sure, you can go back and grab some loot, but to progress, you have to push yourself. Once you've completed the campaign, there is still plenty to do in Outriders. The team promises a complete endgame experience right out of the box, no DLC required, and it's all based around a system called Expeditions. Once you beat the game, you'll have access to a new workstation at camp, which will pinpoint unique missions to complete. These are completely new challenges, not rehashed story content, and there are 15 in total waiting for players to explore. They are big, handcrafted levels that will push players to the absolute brink. Instead of world tiers, Expeditions use a system called challenge tiers And it's simple, the faster you complete an expedition, the more loot you get at the end. Depending on how fast you get through an expedition, you'll also unlock new challenge tiers, which of course will reward you with better loot. While the level cap in Outriders may be 30, you can actually score gear up to level 50 in expeditions, which you'll need because it's crucial to taking down some of the toughest enemies the game has to offer. Expeditions are designed with speed in mind. You won't find any loot on enemies or around the world. It's all about how fast you can get from the start to the end. And with the brand new missions to explore, I for one am hopeful that this endgame system is worthy of our time. Friends, there is a lot to be excited about with Outriders, from the core gameplay systems to a brand new sci-fi adventure. I for one am excited to announce that we have just been accepted into the Outriders Ambassador program, so if you're interested in learning more about the game before launch, please do be sure to hit that thumbs up and of course subscribe so you never miss a new video. Livid and I plan on teaming up and taking Enoch by storm, and if you want to follow our adventures, I also recommend you check out our Discord. We have a brand new section for players interested in Outriders, and we'll be able to share tips, tricks, and of course, our latest videos. My name is Codiak, and from everyone here at Legacy Gaming, thanks for watching, and play on.